Professional Forum's president. Ambassador, good morning. I hope you're fine, sir.
I'm doing.
Also, Councillor Apia Dankwa is a private legal practitioner and a member of the Movement for Change Council. Good morning. All correct? Yeah, right. And also, as usual, on a Thursday morning, we have our very own Comrade Kwesi Pratt Jr. Comrade, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Right. So, without further ado, we'll get into our first conversation. Namibia, we understand that voting started yesterday, and we have also learned that it appears a woman is at the forefront. I mean, she is in the driving seat, and it appears as though she may win the polls. Let me straight away go to Councillor Apia Dankwa, who knows a thing or two already about this latest development in Namibia.
Yeah, so let me take this opportunity to wish you, lovely viewers, a good morning. Wish my own SRC President, H.E. Sampiali, a good morning. Always a pleasure to be in his company. And always a pleasure to be in the company of Comrade Kwesi Pratt Jr. So I think we are in the election season. The US have done their own. There will be a number of elections going on. We have our own next week. Namibia, I think, had yesterday. They are still, I'm sure probably they are still counting what's called the ballot cast. But like in the US, Namibia is at the forefront of seemingly pushing the gender agenda as one of the major candidates. Indeed, the candidate of the ruling party, SWAPO, is a woman, the current vice president. I think the major issue beyond the issues that they are confronted with, I mean, massive economic issues. Namibia has one of the biggest economic inequality situations across the globe. As in the gap between those who have and those who do not have is huge. They are playing with massive unemployment issues, serious housing deficit. But I'm sure what will make the news is the fact that the leading candidate is a woman, and what her potential victory stands for all gender activists across the globe. Personally, I should be rejoicing having attended a school that led the effort of educating the girl child. Agri famously said that, James Kweji Agri famously said that if you educate a man, you educate an individual. If you educate a woman, you educate a nation. And so it is encouraging that that women are coming at the forefront of a national political discourse. Even in our own country, the National Democratic Congress are presenting a woman as their vice presidential candidate. And I think if you consider what's happening in Namibia as an opportunity for women to stake their claim in the political discourse, however, I'm of the firm view that when it comes to issues that borders on leadership, then the number one consideration ought to be the competence of the person, not necessarily the gender, not the religion of the person. And so I hope that when the people of Namibia, and I know they cast their votes were casted yesterday, their major consideration will not necessarily be the gender of whoever they think ought to lead the country, but will be who has the solution to their teething issues that borders on their economy, that borders on the massive inequality, issues that borders on the huge housing deficit, and issues that borders on the total well-being of the people of Namibia. That should be at the fore. I think that should be at the fore of every country that goes to choose who their leaders will be. We should not be swayed by issues of tribe, issues of religion, even issues of gender. For me, the major issues ought to be what is the competence of the person, what is the character of the person, what is the ability of the person to represent what truly matters to the people of the country. And then once that is done, we stand a better chance of fulfilling the promise of democracy. So I wish the people of Namibia well, and I pray that the best person, the person who represents the true will of the people of Namibia becomes the president of Namibia. I think I would want to rest here.
Right. Thank you very much. So, Ambassador.
Bless. Good morning, Council, and then my own brother Kosi and our viewers. The central part of Africa is of interest to most of us because of their historical antecedent. Namibia, Mozambique, and the Botswana and the rest of them. You know, there was an area where for a long time the white men never felt like living. And even when they have left, they still felt that they should own their lands there. You know, so land issues are still persistent there. Now, on these elections particularly, the reports I am reading is that there was a lot of voter apathy. You know, a lot of voter apathy. And when there's voter apathy, it's either due to lack of education or a protest by the people that, look, we are tired of your elections, get away with it and let us lead our lives. I hope in the case of Namibia, what makes it even worse is that the apathy is from among the youth. You see, the youth apathy is very, very, very high. Like many other African countries, the Namibians don't have enough trust in their institutions, and that is also a feature. But like a comrade said, I know the butterfly man said he's not a comrade.
About another was conferred the accommodation.
Oh, okay, then you are welcome to the commemoration. Welcome.
So
welcome,
why
welcome.
do you want to take it away?
Welcome to the positive French. So I would want to, like Apia Danko said, see the growth of a certain dynamics, the female lead. You know, we have had African leaders who have been females, like Shalif Johnson and the rest. Their impact is yet to be evaluated. However, I believe that if you look at what has happened in Tanzania, there's so much stability and development as a result of the lady being the president. I believe that women have come of age to be trusted with governance of their countries, and Namibia should not be an exception. Even though the U.S. tried and failed for many reasons, I know that the African situation is different. You know, we have cultural barriers and others that prohibits women from progressing. So if a woman has come all the way up there contesting for presidency, it's an achievement on its own. Believing that he may win, if he has not won already, I want to attract her attention to youth unemployment. You know, youth unemployment is becoming a big issue in Africa. That if one day all the youth in Africa decide that today we have had enough, there'll be a huge problem for all of us. Youth unemployment. And these days it's not difficult for the youth to put themselves together. You know, one person goes to the social media and say today we are all out there, and the whole of Africa will be in place. So I believe that thing should attract her attention if he wins. For the records, I think she's winning. So the youth should be her major priority. You know, the issue of African leaders, once they are elected to office, it's like there are some devilish clothes they wear. As soon as they are elected into office, they wear these devilish clothes, and nothing more is important to them than their personal greed. Yesterday I saw a picture of a house of Nigeria's former head of state, Shagari Shehu, and the council was so pathetic. You know, a huge mansion in ruins, like the one in Siseko Mobutu, huge mansion in ruin. So I want to just address African leaders, their attention to the fact that their quest for greed when in power, is of no essence. It's of no essence, because when the president dies or leaves, who has the courage to go and stay in his house? The historian of who? So they should moderate their greed and quest for everything for themselves. I wish the people of Namibia very well, and as brothers and as comrades, hope that the election turn out to be very peaceful and the results are accepted as the case may be. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Sampiali. Comrade?
Well, anytime women candidates have come up, the retort from males, demented males, uncivilized males, so on, is that we should be looking for competence. Yes, we should be looking for competence. But who said that women are not competent? They are competent women and they are competent men. And they are incompetent women and incompetent men. You understand? So incompetence is not a category which is reserved for women. And we need to understand that very clearly. I don't believe that we should just vote for any woman because she's a woman. Some of the women really, are incapable of managing the affairs of state. But there are many, many competent women around the world, and I think that they deserve to be given equal opportunity to run the affairs of state, Now, there are many reasons why women's participation in the national development effort is crucial. Just the numbers. If you take Ghana, they are almost 51% of the population. So if you deny 51% of the population a right of participation, you limit your own capacity to develop and so on. But be that as it may, the voting started yesterday. Counting, I'm not aware, has begun or has reached any conclusion. SWAPO has led the country since independence. Two of its former presidents put forward by SWAPO have died, including Sami Yoma. And this lady has also been put up by SWAPO. Indeed, in the last election, SWAPO got about 59% of total votes. So going by that, it would appear that she has a very, very fair chance of winning. But we have to factor in the fact that since independence, many of the parties which led the national liberation struggles are losing favor with the electorate. The last one being the ANC, which did so badly in the elections that it had now to enter into a coalition with the DA, So I wish her well. I wish that she becomes an example for other African countries. She becomes an example for other, women on the continent, so that they can strive to lead as they deserve to lead, and so on,
Right. Thank you very much, Comrade Kwesi Pravio. Let me remind you that you too can be a part of today's conversation by sending in your text messages and WhatsApp text 0559919802. That is the number to which you can send in your opinions and your submissions. Special greetings to those of you who are across the length and breadth of the country. We are extremely grateful for your time. But let's move away from that and come back to Ghana. There's a story making the rounds, and this story has been making the rounds since yesterday after the Speaker responded to the Member of Parliament for the Futu constituency, Honorable Alomassor, on his request for the Speaker to recall Parliament, something that should have happened today and tomorrow, because these were the dates that Alomassor suggested, 28th and 29th of November. However, the Speaker has given reasons for which that could only happen after the December 7 election. According to him, these parliamentarians have to be accountable to their constituents, and so they've gone out there to also campaign to seek re-election, and then for this matter, only a few days until the December 7 election, he doesn't believe that it's the right time to recall Parliament. I don't know what the NPP MPs feel about this, but this is the current situation. Let me go straight to you, Councillor Appiah Dankwa. Was it to be expected that the Speaker would take this position following events of the Supreme Court and the banter here and there between the legislature and then the judiciary?
Okay, so I think that the first point is to make a determination whether or not the Speaker is within the confines of the law in the decision he took. Because under our Constitution and their own standing orders, where a request for recall has been made, and it meets the numerical constraints, because there are a number of people, then the Speaker has within 14 days to. And so yes, the Speaker has a discretion here. As in, there was no obligation on him to grant Afenyomark as in the leader of the MPP caucus in Parliament the 28th or the 29th. Also, I think it is important to also state that, you see, this is about the third time Afenyomark has attempted to recall Parliament. In the two occasions, even though he asked for a recall, they failed to turn up. On two of the occasions, they failed to turn up on the petty grounds that on the petty grounds of where they were going to sit in Parliament. You understand? No, and I find that very strange, taking into consideration the fact that the reason of the very important businesses that must be had, because budget hasn't been read. Budget hasn't been read, and there are over 20. In fact, there are a lot of issues that they need to attend to. So I find it very strange that for somebody who is there to represent the people of Ghana, who is there to serve as a check on the executive, you understand, will refuse to appear in Parliament, having himself asked Speaker to recall on the past two occasions. Now, I agree with the Speaker when he says that for all the myriad of issues that are before Parliament, the 28th and the 29th, what serious business can they do? What serious business can they do? Taking into consideration the fact that on the 7th, elections will be happening and there will be a need for the MPs to be in their constituencies, soliciting for votes. Ordinarily, I would have agreed with the Speaker, but he's within his 14 days. And I don't think Afenyomark has shown a commitment to his duties as an MP, as the majority or as the leader of the MPP caucus in Parliament. For me, the people of Ghana, the question we need to ask ourselves is whether or not these MPs, especially those from the MPP side, whether or not they are in Parliament because of us, whether or not they recognize that they are there to represent the people of Ghana, their constituencies, whether or not it's not a game they are playing. Because over the past 2 weeks, I've received like 2 text messages from my MP, Okakwe South MP. Well, for the first time in the 4 years that she's been there, I've received 2 messages. She's asking for my votes. She's not, well, I'm not aware. Maybe she's not about me, I'm not aware. She's not sent me a text inviting me for some kind of forum where she accounts to me what she's done with the power I gave her 7 December 2020 or 7 January 2021. That's where she took the oath. Yeah. So clearly they are not there because of us. And Afenyomark has reaffirmed that view with how they've handled themselves. You understand? They don't care about us. They don't care about the purpose for which they are there. I know arguments has been made whether or not the MPs are there to represent their parties or they are there to represent, but they have the fundamental duty of Parliament. In this constitutional democracy, we speak about separation of powers. and their fundamental duty is to serve as a check on the executive, and they are not doing that. They are actually in bed with the executive, dishing out this misrule to the people of this country, and the way they've handled themselves over the last few months reaffirms that view. So yes, I don't know, as you want me to be able to read the mind of the speaker. I think the mind of the speaker is clearly in his response. And I know people want to chastise the minister, but me, I'm a firm supporter of want to chastise the speaker. I'm a firm supporter of the minister in how he's handled these issues. He has 14 days. He feels that that it will be in the interest of the people of Ghana if they reconvene at a time and within a period where they can do serious work, not to pretend to be doing something to represent something. Because all the plenty issues, businesses that they have to deal with, how can they do that in 2 days? Also, and how can they have that clear mind to handle those issues when they are thinking about their elections? So in this election, when there will be a massive bloodbath, when I say bloodbath, against the MPs, you understand? The NPP MPs, we are going to vote massively against them. So me, for one, I know the secret ballot, but the NPP MP there, she's lost my vote already. You understand? She's lost my vote already. You understand? So where there's going to be a massive bloodbath, and they are aware, would they have that clear mind to undertake these serious businesses? So I also agree with the speaker. We are going to vote again. We are going to make that critical decision. The 1992 Constitution, in the Directive Principle of State Policy, advises us what our constitution should be. And I say it again. I know some people hold the view that for the politicians, and I think so. For them, it's a game. For majority of the politicians in this country, it's a game. It's just a game they are playing. They don't care about the country. They don't care about the people. You understand? It is our duty as a sovereign, because remember, we are a republic, to find a way of identifying those people who have put themselves out for position, who really care about the country. You understand? I know that throw things at you. Oh, he belongs to my party. He's a Muslim. He's this, is that, is that. You understand? But our consideration should be what the Directive Principle of State Policy advises us. Who amongst them represents the true values and the true will of the people of Ghana? We want development. We want good governance. We want leadership. You understand? We want leadership that will sustain and advance the cause of the rule of law. We want leadership that will make true the promise of democracy. You understand? We want leadership that will help us advance our political objectives, our economic objectives, our social, cultural, and educative objectives. Those should be our consideration. And I think events over the last few months have told us what can befall us, where we go and choose people who clearly consider everything that's happening as a game. As a game. So let's go and vote for Ghana come 7th December 2024. It is our obligation to vote for Ghana. It is our obligation to go beyond, to scratch beyond the surface and interrogate the persons, the character, the values, the principles of the people who are putting themselves up. Let's make a choice that will entrench the rule of law. Let's make a decision that will advance the cause of the economic prosperity of this country. Let us support the speaker, the decision he's made. They should wait after the 7th of December. They should reconvene, and it shouldn't be just 2 days. If you don't want to do serious business, it shouldn't be just 2 days. Sit down within that short period. I know by that time, half of the MPP MPs would have lost. You understand? They would have lost. But they should put on their Ghana cap, in spite of the fact that don't be present in the next parliament and undertake the serious business that will be before them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Council Ambassador Apiali. I think your party chairman wrote to the speaker advising him to not kowtow to the demands of Honorable Afenyo Markin. And I mean, I wouldn't want to look at it from that angle, but you your party have been vehemently opposed to a recall of Parliament, despite the fact that I think Markin makes the argument that there are lots of serious business to do. Why is that?
Apart from the collective decision of the party, like Apia Danka, I totally agree with the speaker. We cannot allow individuals to rub their egos on state institutions. I remember the day after the Supreme Court decision on this same panel, Kwesi questioning what would be the effect of this decision. Kwesi here was, I think he was sitting here. What would be the effect of this decision? Because the speaker cannot be forced, dragged to sit in Parliament and recall Parliament. He has to go through process, and that has time attached to it. What has befallen Parliament, for me, is very, very, very good. This 8th Parliament has revealed a lot of things to us which we are not chronicling. It started with an MP, elected MP, showing us how to steal ballot box and run away with it. Anywhere in the world, that could have been a very serious stealing in Parliament. Then it came to fighting. I mean, people guarding the chair of the seat of the speaker. It has revealed a lot to me personally. It has also revealed that leadership is so important. Leadership is very, very important. When the Chief Justice screamed, Parliament is not sitting, there's constitutional crisis, I think her view was that by her decision, Supreme Court decision, the next day Parliament should be sitting to transact government business. Bless, how many days since the decision of the Supreme Court? It's not every matter that is decided by the court. As for example, the Yindi crisis was not resolved by court, was it? Afenyo Makin became the leader of government business, replacing Oseche Mensah Bonsu. I have my own reservations about the methodology of his appointment, but albeit when he was appointed, he said, "Oh, as a bencher, I argued and took decisions in a certain way. Now that I am the leader of the House, I am going to be more reconciliatory. I'm going to be more measured." Only to reveal his true character when he was put to the test. I second envision him walking across Parliament with his trousers on his waist, as if somebody has offended him personally. Little did I know that he had taken the thing so personal and so spiritual. You remember he said that to go and sit somewhere was against a spiritual edict. That's how low Ghana has been reduced to. Then you force Parliament through recall. The Speaker obliges. No announcement of Parliament can be made outside the chambers of Parliament. Councillor lie. Every decision of the Parliament, even if you agree in chambers, the decision has to be announced in Parliament. So, granted without admitting that the leadership had met, for the Speaker to be given the opportunity to address his concern with the Supreme Court's ruling. The Speaker is perhaps more qualified in law than most of the people there, the Speaker. And he'd be the last person to disobey a Supreme Court law. So, order. So what was simply required was sit wherever you are. Because when they first went to Parliament, you remember the NDC even sat on the majority side on the basis that we are 137 and you are also 137. But when they went to the caucus and agreed that a Siama should be added to the MPP caucus because that was in government, the Speaker ordered, and then there was change of flags. People change. So what was so spiritual about the fact that, okay, today we are sitting here. When I came, NDC is sitting here, we are also sitting here. But then waiting for the Speaker to do what has to be done. by saying that, okay, the Supreme Court says I should stay off my decision, and therefore, by implication, let us return to the status quo, go here and go there. Is this too much for Afrenian market to have thought of? Is this, the Speaker has betrayed me, Speaker has done this, Speaker is not a monarch, Speaker, all the garbage. First, you could apply the law, isn't it? And when you yourself apply the law, your numbers were not there. And bless, if you review Parliament, 4 months, 6 months ago, all of them have vacated and foiling Baumia in his campaign. All the MPP, all the time when you saw that 6 months ago, you see the NDC side with a lot of people. And one person I respect so much is our friend A.B.A. Fuseni. Even though he lost his seat in the next campaign, he has never missed Parliament. Every day, A.B.A. Fuseni is there. Compare that to the MPP MPs who lost in their primaries. None of them has ever stepped there. Apart from those who voluntarily said they were not going to step. So, by numbers, the NPP caucus had reduced by themselves. So, you force Speaker to recall Parliament to conduct government business. When the Speaker sat, there was no business agenda. What do you call it? Business paper, order paper. How can you be such reckless and be dissipating of public funds? Anytime you recall these MPs, it's a lot of money, which is a burden to the taxpayer. So if Afrenian market was minded of the fact that it is human beings that put him there, not he himself, and thinking about Ghanaians, he would not have conducted himself as if he was conducting his private orchestra. Let's go, let's go. And now today you are begging the Speaker. Now today you are begging the Speaker, because it will go on record that you were the first leader of my government business that could not conclude government business. First. But bless me, I'm happy that this Parliament is not going to sit to impose on me the chance of giving my tax money to some so-called businesses as tax exemptions. How do you reconcile the two? You are bankrupt. Your country is bankrupt. You can't go to the international market to borrow. IMF is giving you thoughts, assistance in thoughts. Then the little money that you have gathered, you are also going to give it to some so-called one district, one factory people as tax exemptions. For me, if Parliament does not sit for this reason alone, I'm fine. You know, now I was listening to the communicators. If you don't pay workers in the first 3 months, blame NDC. What has NDC done in this? What has the NDC done in this? And who said that when Parliament meets, Parliament would officially come to an end when the new Parliament is sworn in. So the Speaker has a right under the Constitution to recall Parliament for the urgent business of state which has not been dealt with, particularly the budget. Because after the budget, it affects everybody. But not the tax exemptions. Was Afrenian market dead when the President issued an executive instrument asking people to go and mine in the forest? Was Afrenian market not in this country? So if the President is minded that, look, I want to stop because of public opinion against it, the President can issue a simple executive instrument. If you read the EPA law they are bringing, as if that was the major reason why they are bringing the EPA law. Read the portions affecting forest mining. Very scanty. Why does the NPP take us for? And now they say that, there's free SHS bill. So now they are conceding that for 8 years they have implemented a policy without the support of an act. This policy has taken a lot of money from our coffers, isn't it? A lot of money from our coffers. what law supported that? And for cheap politics, they think that it will be accepted by everybody that then this is against what? Free SHS, and therefore they will vote against that. If they bring that bill today, we will vote for it today. We will even be the first people to vote. Because, you see, the free SHS is not the baby of anybody. Way back 1963, Ghana had free senior tertiary education as free. Way back. So if you just repackage an existing policy and makes it your number one, Alafia bitters, everything is a free SHS. When the truth of the matter is that you only added or increased the number of borders. Because as for the day school, it has already been declared free. So it is just the borders that were added. Bless. Who said there were no boarding schools in Ghana? Today, as I speak, there's investigations going on. Look, there's students that went to school last year, they vacated for the first term, and the next term, they were second year. Who wants to educate his child like that? Go to school for 27 or so weeks and go to the next class. And the first years that are in school now, since October, they have not attended classes. And are being fed with maggot-infested rice. Take a census in our secondary schools, senior high schools, and determine the number of children of ministers who are there, the number of children of politicians who are there. Well, is it because Ghanaians we claim to be poor, anything can be used on us? Is it that our taxes that are funding the so-called free SHS? NPP used free SHS 2012, 2016, 2020. Now they want to use the same policy, mono track. But Ghanaians are not as naive as we used to be. Now we are very, very wise. We want to see, after my children have left senior high school, they'll be going to the university, isn't it? After university, they will have to work. Which policies of a government is targeting the youth after they have left the university? You know, I still see advert as false as possible. Muhammad cancelled teacher training allowance. When teacher training allowance was not cancelled. If a government can be that cheap in its advertisement, then we are in crisis. So bless. I am very, very, very worried that Parliament, you know, that ought to have been the place for, you know, critical thinking about the state has been turned into this mediocrity. I have lived in Dansumon all my life, isn't it? Anytime Aslausu, who is my MP, comes there, he's meeting MPP people. Then I ask myself, so me, because I'm an NDC, I'm not a Ghanaian. I think when they go to Parliament, they seem to be MPP MPs. They are called Member of Parliament for Ablekuma Central, Member of Parliament for this and that and that. Why has then, therefore, our Parliament been turned so parochial politically? If you sow the wind, you reap the whirlwind. Whatever Mark Koku sowed in Parliament is what we are reaping. Whatever Afenyo Markin thought he was, he has now been cut to his real size. My friend Kwesi Price says that when we need smoothness level, next time when they are running towards being a leader of Parliament, he will not go near it because he hasn't got the competencies to be a leader in this country. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Let me do a few messages. Good morning, bless and panelists. When pride comes, then comes disgrace. Don't climb a mountain with an intention that the world sees you. Climb the mountain with the intention to see the world. The self-styled majority leader has gotten what he wants. Uncle Pratt and Councillor Pia Dankwa have me glued to my chair to watch the show. From Kaiser, aka Martin Pebu Intechiman. Thank you, Kaiser, for your message. Good morning, bless Koku, my boss. My regards to your guest live. Like if the revered speaker listened to the minority leader Pengu Makin and reconvened the House, speaker would have been seen as the most weakest speaker in the annals of the country's history. The speaker, upon reconvening parliament twice because of Pengu Makin and the MPP, they failed to appear. Is that not the apex of disrespect and arrogance? Speaker has proven that even with the court on the side of the MPP, he does not care. Seidu John Paul, former SRC president, Tamale Technical University, thank you very much for your message. Joseph says, good morning to you and the panel. How can Parliament be expected to cover as many as 22 serious issues within 2 days? And why could Pengu Makin not get the mandatory 42 members of his own members to force the hand of the speaker? In any case, what stops Parliament from sitting after 7th December? It's much ado about nothing. My take. Joe from Tadi. Joe, thank you so much, and good morning to the people of Takrade. With regards to the over-judicialization of our politics, the simple question I pose is that where will the judiciary send their disputes for redress? Will the judiciary petition any of the two arms of government to address their issues for them? Parliamentarians are gradually and automatically undermining their autonomy. Ricardo from Bichim. Thank you, Ricardo. This one here says, good morning, bless Apathy Makin. Or he says, no, Apathy, his name is Apathy, not Apathy. Apathy Makin has met his meter. Kofi Gan from Bato. Thank you, Kofi Gan, for your message. Let me do two more. Good morning to you and Uncle Pratt. This is Adam Kola, PRO from Tamale Central. Now every country needs a new government to save their country. I'm begging Ghanaians to vote Mahama to promote Ghana's economy. Send my greetings to Haj Tanko Maida, okay? Very well received. Let me do this final one before I come to Comrade Pratt. This one here says that, good morning. I'm monitoring live in Tamale. Please greet Haj Misbahu, Captain, incoming MP for Mion. Okay, thank you for your message. Comrade Pratt.
Well, I think it's first of all important to notice that Apathy Makin, the leader of the MPP in Parliament, did not trigger any constitutional or legal process for the recall of Parliament. If he was to trigger that process, he would have required the signature of 15% of members of Parliament. And the Speaker would have been required within 14 days to reconvene Parliament. That's the legal and constitutional process. Now, even if that was to happen, the Speaker is obligated to recall Parliament in 14 days, which could lead us up to the days after the election. Okay. What he did was merely to write an appeal, a memo to the Speaker, asking the Speaker to exercise his own judgment, in the recall of Parliament. And that has not worked. And I fully understand why that has not worked. First of all, he's listed more than 20 items for the discussion of Parliament, for the consideration of Parliament. More than 20 items. And I agree with the Speaker. I don't see how within the next 2 days, that is today and tomorrow, those issues could have been, discussed and concluded in Parliament. It's not possible, simply not possible. The other thing which many people would notice is the absolute recklessness of the MPP caucus in Parliament. You knew that we had this serious business that you wanted Parliament to consider. And yet when you had the opportunity on 2 occasions, you decided not to attend Parliament and to continue to quarrel over titles, majority leader, minority leader, and so on. If they had at the time that the Speaker recalled Parliament the first time, gone, sat there and discussed these issues, perhaps we could have made some headway. They decided not to. That is why we are where we are. But for me, the most important issue is that, look, all this bluster, in the Supreme Court and so on, what is the effect? Supreme Court ruling and so on, all the part of it was comedy, part of it was, what has it led to? Afenyomakin swears that if he doesn't sit on the chair that he thinks has been reserved for the majority leader, his party will lose elections. Now, there's no such opportunity before the elections. Is his party going to lose the elections? That spiritual dimension, what is it? That's waste of everybody's time, I think we can move on.
Right. Thank you very much. I've received some more messages. Ken Williams says, good morning, host. Afenyomakin was not appointed due to any leadership qualities, but due to his opposition to the anti-gay bill and his ability to do dirty politics for his political master. It's a cardinal sin to make such an inexperienced foot soldier a majority leader just to satisfy the whims and caprices of his political godfathers. Indeed, the chaos in Parliament is due to the arrogance of power by NPP, who hide behind the unanimous FC to subvert or rewrite the laws in their favor. Who asked Afenyomakin and his people to be absent when he first recalled Parliament? He's so disrespectful. Okay, thank you for your message. Good morning. Please, has the self-styled majority leader forgotten about the Supreme Court? Let him take the Speaker's response to his recall back to the Supreme Court for further interpretation. Okay, you didn't tell me your name and where you sent your message from. Host, time and tide waits for no man. Nanado's term has come to an end, but Ghana is still where it is. This should be a lesson to every notorious leader. Nanado says all chiefs must stand up to show him respect. Today his powers is coming to an end, but the chiefs continue to rule. Who is more powerful? A word to a wise enough by Baba Alaji from Pru West. Thank you, Baba, for your message. This one, he also says that kudos to the Speaker of Parliament for rejecting the request by the MPP minority leader to recall Parliament. Since the MPP doesn't believe in the rule of law, the MPs can go and sit the chamber tomorrow and pass any bill they feel threatened to government business, if not passed now. This corrupt NPP administration is nothing but a complete failure. Change will surely come, inshallah. Long live Mamprugu, activist for NEC, Mashoud Ibrahim. Thank you, Mashoud, for your message. This one, onto this one, which says that good morning, bless. My name is Sami Boache from Asamankesi. We have just 9 days to the elections, and I'm appealing to you to consider MPP-led Baumia remarkable achievements and vote massively for Dr. Baumia to protect the successful policies of the MPP's administration. Thank you, Sami Boache, for your message. And finally, I'll read this last one, which says, my name is Mystic Wonder, inside in Sawama Dwijiri. Dr. Baumia should campaign on the economy and stop dancing to King Palute's songs, and stop the empty promises and needless sloganeering. The wind of change is blowing and nothing can stop it. The tried and tested John Mahama is coming to rescue Ghana from the hands of this nepotistic, indolent nation wreckers. All right, thank you very much. Continue to send them. I see some more coming, but let's move away from the Speaker of Parliament and all those matters and get to the camp of the New Patriotic Party. The General Secretary of the party, and this is one story that has shocked me to the mind. When I was going through the papers on the newspaper headline segment, I was very much surprised to see it, and for the fact that a newspaper has had the reason to actually even project it on the front page, that it is high time a Muslim became the leader of the country. Said time for Muslim to lead Ghana, Justin Frimpong Kudia. That is a very interesting thing to say. Councillor Pia Dankwa.
You know the bigger surprise. The bigger surprise is that
You are surprised. Bless. why are you surprised that my own friend and brother Justin Kodia will say this, which represents the character of the New Patriotic Party? You know, last week or last 2 weeks, when Alan John Kojo responded to President Kufuor's advice to Ghanaians to vote for Dr. Bawumia, the MPP strangely started circulating some memo by Darocha, BJ Darocha, concerning Alan's attempt at resigning from the MPP some time back in 2008. Have you had a chance to read that memo? Now, in that memo, yes, or in fact, before I go, I think that memo is very instructive to the extent that it tells us the issue the MPP has with Alan. Because in that memo, Darocha said, I wish I had the memo here, but he said, but you, I'll look for it and give it to you, that Alan has shown that whenever he's asked to choose between Ghana and the MPP, he will choose Ghana. And that's why they should not trust him. And that's why, in the memo, in the 2 people, there was one of the issues Darocha, so one of the, Darocha advised the MPP not to accept Alan back. And one of the reasons he gave in the memo was that whenever Alan is tasked to choose between Ghana and the party, he will always choose Ghana. You understand? So the MPP has had an issue with Alan because Alan has consistently placed Ghana ahead of the party. So for the MPP, they don't care about Ghana. They don't care about Ghana. They care about, I don't know what they care about, their own parochial interests. Because, you see, when they had to make a decision to present somebody to Ghanaians to consider as president, one would have thought that having regard to the issues that we are confronted with, and the biggest issue we are confronted with is one of a fundamental loss of confidence in the economy of this country. You understand? 2, this country is increasingly becoming polarized on grounds of tribe, regionalism, which is really strange because we are not a federal country. This is a unitary country. You understand? And the regions we have are just for the purposes of administration. You understand? The regions are not even agents of development because real development are done by the districts. You understand? We are increasingly becoming very regional. And right now they want to divide us further by introducing religion. Now, confronted with these issues as a country, and you be a political party whose focus ought to be Ghana. When they were making their decision to present somebody before Ghanaians, and then going by their own principles, as His Excellency Dr. Bawumia told us, and we should never forget, that if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. At that time, $1 was equal to 3 point something cedis. On 4th November 2023, when they made that decision, $1 was almost equal to about 12 cedis. 2, under Dr. Bawumia's watch, and we should remember when the president was proposed or pronounced the principle of hatarization. You know the principle of hatarization of the CD. CD Naya Hata Hata. You don't recall that. And then he said that the person who was going to give weight to the CD was His Excellency Dr. Bawumia. And that the reason why I was bringing Dr. Bawumia was to deal with economic issues. Now, one economy 101 tells us that the safest place to put your surplus money is in government bonds. Am I lying? Economy 101. Now, Bawumia is the one managing the economy. Under his watch, our compatriots, Ghanaians, who followed that principle, economy 101, made the right choice of buying government of Ghana bonds. These people outside the country, have lost $12 billion. $12 billion. Have lost $12 billion. The same $12 billion the Minister of Finance claim they have saved the country by. You understand? the people of Ghana, people who believe in economy 101, economy being managed by Dr. Baumia, have lost 12 billion. People are dying because of that. Come and may you so rest in peace. After his interview, where is he told Ghanaians about what he has to go through because all his savings, everything is gone. He's even struggling to raise 1,000 Ghana. So about one of the foremost industrialists of this country. In spite of that, the MPP, because they don't love Ghana, you understand? Because when Dr. Baumia having been given the opportunity, have demonstrated clearly that he has no clue. He has absolutely no clue when it comes to the management of the economy. And two, this distasteful campaign he waged when he was campaigning to be MVP presidential candidate, a campaign that divides more than unites. Vote for me because I'm enough now. Vote for me because I can be called Timothy. Vote for me because I don't mind going to Abosom Fie. No value, no principle, no plan, no program. A campaign that divides us. And yet the MPP presented him. They presented him. And I'm telling you that I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised Justin Kudia will sink so low and make this reckless statement. Because that represents the character of the MPP. They don't care about Ghana. They'll hound a talent like Alan Chamante out only because whenever he's taxed, he's faced with choosing his country over the party, he always places the Ghana first. Now whoever will become president will take an oath to defend the constitution. What does the constitution say in relation to between choosing when you're faced with choosing the country over your party? Our constitution, under the directive principle of state policy, the chapter 6, says that we should always place Ghana first ahead of our sectoral allegiances, ahead of our partisan allegiances, ahead of our tribal allegiances. Ghana must always be first. Now, per this statement, the MPP is telling you that whoever they will present will not be capable of fulfilling that oath. Already, they will give us a president, they sponsored a president who has flouted every single vow he took. The president told us that, yes, in fact, that I have an obligation to bring responsibility, to bring development to everywhere in Ghana. The people of Kofi, you do not vote for my MP, so I'll bring development to you. He goes to Mepe. Even if he were not to be president, the spirit of humanity dictates that you have empathy to the people of Mepe. But he said, listen, I took an oath to dedicate myself to the well-being of all Ghanaians, but you don't vote for me, so why was I even supposed to be here? He goes to Ejeso and tell them in their face that, listen, if you don't vote for my MP, then none of you can lobby me to fulfill my obligation towards you.
You know where he's going.
Yeah, son. But he will say that because that's the spirit of the party that sponsored him. So in the MPP, unless you represent that spirit, whose focus is adverse to the interests of Ghana, they don't like you, don't support you. And so why should you be surprised when Justin Kodia is saying that it is time for a Muslim to, why did he realize that it was time for a Muslim to be president? When did that realization come? And all this, why does Ghana stand for him? Yeah, understand. So they present somebody who has no message. He goes around and we see his dishonesty, his lack of credibility to the fore. And so all they're wasting time doing is to go around singing, oh, what's his Ifiani? Oh, what's his Ifiani? Because they have no plan, they have no clue. Fortunately for us, it does not lie on Justin Kodia or any member of the MPP to make that decision for us. On 7th December, it is the decision, it will be the decision of every single Ghanaian. On that day, the vote of the kings is equal to the vote of the so-called commoners. Justin Kodia's vote will be equal to the vote of an 18-year-old man who's voting for the first time, who has no job. On 7th December, one of the cardinal principles of the rule of law, which is that we are all equal before the law, will come to the fore. And on that day, when we are going to vote, we will not look at your religion. We will not look at your tribe. Our sole consideration will be what is in the best interest of Ghana. And it is clear that Dr. Bawumia is far away from what is in the best interest of Ghana. I'll call him Abonsam Samana, and nobody can sell Abonsam Samana to us. My own father cannot sell Abonsam Samana to me. Nobody should attempt to sell any bad, infested product to us. Because what is at stake is Ghana. And on 7 December, we are going to vote for Ghana. And that vote for Ghana will dictate that we reject this very bad product. This product that we know beyond all reasonable doubt does not have what it takes to lead this country. Having failed woefully in solving the hatarization of the city issue, having led the breach of Economy 101, the safest place to place your money is in the government of Ghana bonds. Having led a leadership that has divided us rather than unite us as a people, having been a fundamental head of this government or of this government, which has caused a fundamental loss of credibility in political leadership. On 7 December, let us go and vote for Alan John Kojo Chairman. Let us start the process that will cause a restoration of the loss of credibility in our economy. Let us vote for somebody who will bring us together. Because you go to all these countries, American, or they are from different places, but they are American, and so other people even forget where they are from. We failed to do that. After over 60 years of our independence, right now we should have reached a stage where what comes first is the fact that we are Ghanaians. But we can't achieve that so far as the MPP lead, so far as a party who will hound a gem out of their party only because he's consistently placed his country ahead of the interests of his party. Let us vote for Alan, so I will see that Kwame Nkrumah Ghana rise again to take its place as the Black Star of Africa. Let us sack these people. Let's sack Bawumia and these people. Let's sack them with a broom, because we cannot allow them to infest this beautiful country with this anti-Ghana spirit.
Thank you very much, Councillor Ambassador Sampiale.
You see, character is like pregnancy. You cannot hide it. It has become very clear to the MPP that all the packaging materials around Bawumia has not worked. So now they are covering him with religion. You see, he talk about competence, he failed. He talk about loyalty to Ghana, he failed. Talk about truthfulness, he failed. And for somebody like Justin Kodia, yeah, we are discussing him today because that statement has made him relevant. Because since the day he was elected, nobody has seen his relevance. So he had to make this, with, excuse my language, my French, this awkward statement. Let me be charitable. Awkward statement that we should vote for a Muslim. Is it not the same MPP that was saying that we are a national party? Is it not the same MPP? The MPP shows its character according to the season and times. Have you listened to the tape recordings of the Ashanti Regional Minister, who was saying that some people in Tafwa had to be bathed before they were brought to Kumasi? Now, having failed to use the generalization to con us, Bawumia is a big con. Everything he does is tricks. Otherwise, he will stand before Ghanaians who can read and write and say that I brought Ghana card. How would he say that? How would Bawumia claim that he brought mobile interoperability? And these are the reasons why he says we should vote for him, isn't it? the worst things that have happened to countries in history is religious conflicts. Religious conflicts. And therefore, in our Constitutional Council, I think we have copious provisions that prohibits, saying that I am a Fanti, Apia is an Achim, and therefore, Asante, and therefore, I thought you were a mafia man.
No,
Yes. And therefore, I am superior, or he is superior to me. Religion, we have to practice it, but not to the detriment of our national unity. So for Justin Kodia to now preach to Ghanaians that the only reason why we should now vote for Bawumia is because he's a Muslim. Bawumia. So now we have repackaged him. When we got to the last paper, we saw that it was a pork. And for pork, no matter how you repackage it, the smell will come out. So now it's not about Bawumia's competence. It's not about Bawumia's credibility. It's not about Bawumia's truthfulness. It's about religion. But is it not the same Bawumia who said he's a Timothy? Is it not the same Bawumia? In my adult life, all my life, I have never seen a Muslim walk and to the Catholic Church, kneel down to receive communion. I've never seen that before. It's haram, blasphemous, isn't it? He does it. So where is these Muslim credentials? He does not even stop there. He goes even to a shrine, proving to Ghanaians that this is a man who will change, stoop solo just to conquer. And Shakespeare says that loneliness is young ambition's ladder. Look at Bawumia changing like a chameleon at every turn, so that he can cajole us to vote for him. Bawumia, go back to the economy. Today we cannot even go to the capital market because of your foolishness. Now I come to the realization that the document Ejapade has some basis. Because why has the MPP, the president and everybody galvanized to project Ghanaians, Bawumia, and foster him on us? Because he has a duty to protect their loot. Are you following me? He has a duty. He's being put there to protect their loot. As a country, we sit here. When West Legals, you remember West Legals in Cape Coast, they were talking about the hijab for the girl that was wearing that. What did Bawumia say? He didn't say nothing. It took Muhammad to say, no. This is a religious belief. The girl can study without anything, so let the girl be there. What did he say? How can this happen? Last time, I saw a video going around up here, and I said, no, this country cannot be allowed this road. That, because she's a Fulani woman, people are saying that she cannot be a first lady. Meanwhile, you're the second lady. Samira, when there was this registration of Ghanaians, and the Fulanis were denied the registration, what did you say? Now you are wearing the biggest mayafi. Is it mayafi they call it? The mayafi around his head. As soon as the elections are over, you see her dressed like nobody else. We Ghanaians are much wiser than this. Our eye open than this. Justin Kodia, please withdraw that speech, that word, and apologize to the people of Ghana, because that's the biggest insult as a general secretary of a ruling party can give to Ghanaians. That we should vote for Bawumia because he's a Muslim. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Now stoking religious conflict now, isn't it? Now what they are waiting for is a Christian to counteract it and becomes a Christian and Muslim conflict. Ghanaians are not ready for that. We took our decision the very day this government decided to close some banks without justification. Because there were so many people whose job could have been saved, isn't it? I am a bank worker. You close my bank, benefit from it. Kosindo's bank in Kumasi has been given to Chinese. And you expect the bank workers to say that, oh, because Baumia is a Muslim, I'm going to forget that and vote for him? Is that the case? You have poisoned our drinking water. Poisoned our drinking water. And because you are a Muslim, we should vote for you. Please, Justin Kodia, you are a young man coming up. Don't destroy your political career on the altar of stupidity. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'll do some more messages. Good morning, Bless. I'm Mutala from Northern Region, Kumbungu. Indeed, the NPP's leadership in Parliament should know that opportunity comes but once, because Speaker gave them 2 chances to come to Parliament, but they failed to utilize it. The ethno-religious comment by the General Secretary of the NPP is annoying. We are not in secular Ghana. All we want is a God-fearing leader and not a Muslim or Christian. If you are a Muslim and all you do is promising without implementation, people would not take you seriously. I'm a Muslim. Not all Muslims and Christians are God-fearing. Ghana is beyond that childish and hypocritical narrative. Okay, right. Thank you so much. Honorable Timothy, I want to remember Matabwa is doing the watching. He's asking Ambassador Sampiali to cease calling his name. I'm sure it has to do with the Timothy. Right. To some more messages. Blessed. I am surprised Nanado speaks anyhow lately. Which people are majority Kayayos in Accra? Instead of finding it. Okay. The message is not so clear. I'm sorry, I can't continue to read it. Enoch from Tamale. My prayer is that Apenyamaki loses his seat for the disrespect to his constituents. Instead of being proud of being called MP for the good people of Ifutu, he craves to be called the majority leader. Okay. Good morning, Bless. Why should we choose a leader based on their religion? It doesn't make any sense, especially when we see more developed countries with fewer religious institutions, yet they are less corrupt. I'm a Muslim, but I'll vote for JDM because of his ability to develop our country and fight corruption, not because of his religion. I urge all Ghanaians to do the same. Let's vote for a leader who can bring positive change regardless of their religion. I agree. From Tamale, send this one. I'll read this final one before I come to Mr. Pratt. Good morning, Mr. Host. I'm Isaac Intribo. Please, we parents are voting to protect free SHS policy because it's the best policy parents can ever get. Dr. Yosei Duchum is the best education minister Ghana has ever had. It is possible. Okay, thank you very much, Isaac Intribo, for your message. Mr. Pratt.
Well, I mean, quite honestly, I think that this is one of the most reckless statements that has been made by any political leader in recent times. As we speak, Ghana's debt burden has risen to $42 billion. How does electing a Christian solve that problem? How does electing an adherent of the Tigari movement resolve that problem? How is that problem solved simply because you elected an atheist as president? And how can that problem be solved simply because you elected a Muslim? So this talk, you know, I want to be as mild as I can. This talk is childish, it's foolish, absolutely meaningless. It's time to elect a Muslim as president. What does it mean? You understand? I mean, this is pandering to some very base instincts. And it's not good for the country's politics. It's not good for anything. You understand? Now, I've been around quite for some time. And I've seen, for example, the ticket of President Rawlings and his vice, Aka. Both of them were Christians. Yeah. And yet, I think it was during that era that Muslim holidays, were instituted. It didn't have to take a Muslim to do that. I've seen Ghana under President John Dramani Mahama, who is a Christian, you understand? And the Hajj village was built. Conditions for meeting that religious obligation were improved and so on. I can go on and on and on. Kwame Nkrumah did not believe in Tigali. You understand? Kwame Nkrumah was not a Muslim. Kwame Nkrumah did not go to the Mozambique Christian Church and so on. And yet he initiated and implemented projects which benefited all the people of Ghana, including Muslims, and indeed all the people of Africa. So this religious thing is reckless, it's mindless, you know, it doesn't make any sense. Now let's say that we are voting for Dr. Bawumia because he's a Muslim. What would that really mean? Listen, would it mean that those of us who are not Muslims have to vote against him? Yes, I'm not voting in this election for a Muslim. I'm voting for some values, national values. I'm voting to see improvement in the standard of living of our people. I'm voting to prevent a situation where in a matter of 3 years, the price of Kinky jumps from 50 pesos to 5 cedis. That's what I'm voting for. There's no Muslim in that. You understand? So I think that this is a particularly reckless statement. But there may be good reason for it. And this morning, reading through the newspapers, I've come by an article authored by Mr. Gabi Ochre-Daku. And that article is important for me because Mr. Gabi Ochre-Daku is put forward as a strategist of the party. And he himself describes himself as such. Very interesting article which says a lot. I'm trying to find it because I want to read portions of it which will be exceedingly interesting. I thought I found it in the Daily Guide, but I can't see it there, you know. Very interesting article. And in that article, Mr. Gabi Ochre-Daku makes the point that that it's a fluid election and that Alhaji Bawumia is catching up. He's catching up. And that it is possible that by December 7th, he would have caught up with former President John Dramani Mahama. Now, this is Gabi. A clear admission that as at today, Bawumia is losing the elections. Yeah. Clear admission. You understand? Very, very.
Within the 9 days.
Pardon?
You can catch up within the 9 days.
less than 9 days, actually 8 days.
8 days.
You know. Oh, I just read this article. And anyway, I haven't been able to find it yet. But it's clear. I mean, because I wanted to read it so that the viewers will get the full import. You know. I think I saw it in the Daily Guide. You know. So clearly, they themselves admit that Bawumia, as of today, is losing the elections. And therefore, some desperation has set in. And it is this desperation which is moving them to make such reckless statements as vote for him because he's a Muslim, it's time for a Muslim president, and so on. You understand? Meanwhile, the guy himself... Yes, fantastic. Thank you very much. And listen, this is Gabi Ochre-Daku. He says, people often ask of my views on the 2024 presidential election in Ghana, especially knowing my history with presidential campaigns from research to strategy. So Gabi sees himself as a fantastic expert when it comes to research and strategy. This is what he's saying about himself. I tell them what I see from where I sit, which is that for the presidency, it looks like a tight race. It looks like a tight race. And probably the most fluid contest we have ever seen. As more voters now than ever in previous elections appear to be making up or changing their minds as more facts and sharper campaign messages are used to disrupt opinions earlier formed. Excuse me. From my observatory, the closer we get to December election, the more appealing the presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party and his vision become clear. Gabi Oshodaku, his verdict is that as at now, Bawumia is losing the elections. You understand? And Gabi is not an NDC activist. He's not even neutral. He's at the center of the Bawumia campaign. Gabi, the Gabi I know, is looking at all the research findings. He's doing analysis. He's actually helping them to shape their strategy and so on. And his conclusion is that as at today, or as at the time he was writing the election, Bawumia is losing the election. And he's hoping, perhaps against hope, that by December 7, he will catch up. 8 days to the election, catching up 8 days to the election. How is that possible? So the verdict is clear. It's not my verdict, this is Gabi's verdict. Okay? And so you can understand the desperation. They will throw anything and everything. Look, some of the adverts, political adverts in this campaign are horrifying. I mean, are so horrifying, so disgraceful, so undignified. I saw an advert of 2 drivers applying for a job. And one of them is portrayed as John Mahama and is portrayed in the advert as a drunkard. I mean, how can you do this? Clearly unethical. You understand? When the NDC also responds and claims that Bawumia as a Muslim eats pork and drinks alcohol and so on, then there's mayhem. You understand? I don't have anything against anybody who eats pork or drinks alcohol. I don't care. In fact, if that person thinks that is against his religious beliefs and so on, it's his own matter. It has nothing to do with national development. People who eat pork can become presidents and very good presidents. And people who drink alcohol can become very good presidents and so on. I don't have a problem with that. So it's up to their own pretensions. You understand? Me, sitting here, the first day I heard that the New Patriotic Party was portraying Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo as a devout Christian, I nearly collapsed. Devout Christian? From where? And yet for the purposes of election 2016, that is the image they sought to give to him. And in furtherance of that effort to portray him as a devout Christian and so on, they actually foolishly took him to Israel, which is not a Christian state, which is a Jewish state, and made him go to the Wailing Wall to wear some funny thing around his head and so on. That also led to the promise of building a cathedral, which has become a total disaster and so on. Now, the same people who wanted a Christian by all means and any means to lead them and to lead the country now have decided that this time it is convenient to create the impression that they want a Muslim to lead us by hook or crook, especially by crook. I can't believe these people. What do they take the people of Ghana for? They think that we are all some yo-yos. Yeah. We are not. This is the country which defeated British colonialism. This is the country which had the wisdom to elect an Nkrumah as president. You understand? This is the country which led the national liberation struggle throughout Africa and so on. Please don't think of us as yo-yos. Don't come and tell us about time for a Muslim to become president, even if that Muslim happens to be a dunce. What is this rubbish? What is this rubbish? Is this the new patriotic party I knew in 1992? Certainly not. The level of deterioration in the new patriotic party is shocking. You know, of course, I don't want to go to its antecedents in the 1949, 51, 1950. That's mind-blowing. I mean, if you go into the party's history, you'll be shocked. A party whose leader declared publicly that we are not ready for independence because we have not learned the ways of the British. But I want to ignore that because we've gone forward, we've developed. I want to see this party in 1992 under the leadership of Professor Dubois-Ahine and compare, and Darocha and so on, and compare it to what it has become today. What? Is this a new patriotic party? So let's move on.
Right, thank you very much. Our time is even up. Thank you, Ambassador Sampiale. Thank you, Councillor Fiadanko. Thank you, Comrade Pratt. Always a pleasure to sit or to be in the company of these minds and discuss very topical issues. But coming up next, Obasima ladies will be here for an extended version of the morning show. We are going to be having conversations about the Obasima Summit, which is happening tomorrow at the Accra City Hall, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. So, yep, this is where we'll end today's conversation. But Obasima ladies are up next to stay.